Hello everyone and welcome back to my top 25 games as of 2018. We're going to be continuing on in this video going from number 20 down to number 11. So let's just jump right in with my number 20. My number 20 is ArkRight. It's the first game that got me really interested in economic games where you're going to be managing money. The cool thing about this game is that I can go in with a plan. I can almost set up my strategy before the game even takes place of what I want to get accomplished. But then it's all about, when I sit down to play, how am I going to implement that? What are the opportunities that are going to come up that I might want to try and take advantage of, that are going to interrupt the plan that I had going forward? How can I stay focused on it? The other thing about this game that is really cool is your score is based on your share value versus how many shares you own of your own company. And you're going to have opportunities to invest in your company throughout the game. But do I take that money and buy shares of my company? Or do I take that money and then reinvest it into my infrastructure so then I can produce more goods and make my share price go up even higher? That when to invest and how much to invest is a really interesting decision in ArkRight. Now, my number 19 was my number 10 previously, and that is City of Iron, where you're going to be producing resources and building buildings so you can get more income, so you get more money so you can buy more cards. But that resources that you're going to be producing is for area majority that you're going to score throughout the game. It has a really cool deck building component where you have access to your entire card pool, and at the end of each round you're going to be able to choose which cards you want to buy, and then they're going to go straight into your hand. So it gives you a lot of control over how you want to buy your cards, when you want to buy them, and you get to use them right away. The other thing about this game is all about efficiency. You only get 21 actions in City of Iron, so you need to be really efficient, and every time I play, I always take an action that I'm like, I could have done better, and I really like that feeling while playing City of Iron. Now, my number 18 is Clans of Caledonia, where you're going to be building out buildings and producing goods and trying to complete different contracts. I've done a how to play and playthrough of this game, so you can go take a look at that one as well as a review. But the cool thing about this game is the action bundling, being able to combo a bunch of different actions together to get a lot accomplished on one turn. You can combo up to 3, 4, 5 or more different actions with one single turn in this game. Really cool. I like the conversion between resources and money in this game, how it's done through a player-driven market. So there's always going to be opportunities for you to take advantage of, or things not being quite where you want them to be when you want to do certain things. So you always got to be looking at that market and seeing, can I manipulate it to my benefit, or I need to get this done. Do I wait a couple turns? Maybe someone's going to sell or buy things and change it up for me. So really cool, Clans of Caledonia. My number 17 is A Feast for Odin. Now, there are a lot of actions in this game. I think the main board has 60 plus different actions that you can take, and that's one of the things that I really like about the game is it's all about figuring out which actions are the most efficient for me right now to get things done. The other thing that I like about this game is I almost compete against myself, my previous scores with this game, and it's about how much extra do I want to take on by going to these different exploration boards and sheds and houses that you can build. They give you more spaces that you need to cover up, but they allow you to do more things throughout the game. So it's all about managing how much extra do I want to take on to try and get accomplished during this game. And I usually find the more that I take on, the worse I do in the game. But it's always trying to chase that better score by trying to get more and more accomplished, which is really cool in A Feast for Odin. Now, my number 16 was number 8 previously, and that is Dungeon Lords. This is one of the first games that I played when I first got into modern designer board games. I still really enjoy it. It's a game about managing the bad things that are going to happen to you. You're not going to be able to escape all the bad stuff. It's going to happen, but it's about managing so that it's the least amount of impact, where you're building up your dungeon and these heroes are going to be coming and trying to conquer your dungeon. So you're going to be getting monsters to fight them, putting out different traps. You're going to be kind of drafting these heroes in a way. It's going to be based on how evil you are. So manipulating how evil you are during the round is going to be crucial to getting heroes that you're more easily going to be able to fight and giving the harder ones to other people. That's another cool aspect to Dungeon Lords. But the thing that I think I like the most is the action selection. Everyone has the same set of action cards. Some are going to be unavailable from a previous round, so you have an idea. You know what your opponent has available to choose from, but then it's about anticipating what are they going to choose, in what order, because each action has different levels of efficiency to them, and there's only a certain number of spots to some of them as well. So trying to anticipate what order to put your actions down in so that when you reveal them, you get to do the actions that you want. And sometimes you plan very poorly or anticipate very poorly, and you have a very bad turn, but trying to get a good turn in and seeing how risky do I want to be is really cool for Dungeon Lords. Now, my number 15 is 1846. This was the game that introduced me to 18xx games. It led me down a rabbit hole. Since I've gotten and played this one, I've acquired 3 more 18xx games and had the chance to play those. So it kind of opened the door into a new genre of gaming for me. I like the economic nature I mentioned with ArkRight. That kind of got me excited and introduced me to these money management games. Well, these games are all about managing your money, investing in different companies. When do I invest? When do I divest from them? Trying to make the best financial decisions with your cash at this time. Trying to run these train companies and building profitable routes and doing all these things on the map and with the money in the stock market. It's really cool. The other thing that I like about this style of game is that your actions are sometimes opaque. You making the best decision that you can right now, but you don't know if that's going to be the best decision long term or what consequences that decision is going to have long term. So it's really cool that there's not just this one clear-cut thing that you should do. It's all about trying to figure out, maybe this is the best thing, maybe this is the best thing, but just having a real fun time while playing it. And that's my number 15, 1846. Now my number 14 is Codenames. Really cool party-style game where you are going to be having these words out and trying to get a partner to guess certain words within this grid. My favorite thing about this is that you get to try and be clever. You're going to try and link these different words with clues, and the more words you can link together with a single clue, the better off you're going to be able to do. So it's about how clever can I be, how can I tie all these different things together to get my partner to guess them. The other thing that's really cool about this game is it really shows how differently you think from your partner. The words might have multiple meanings or different connotations, and you might be thinking about these words in one way, and you give a clue, and then the other person was like, I never even thought to consider that word being related at all. You get to see kind of the inner workings of people's thought processes towards things. It plays very quickly. We usually play a bunch of games back to back, but really cool game where you get to try and be clever and realize that you maybe are not quite as clever as you thought you were. So then on to my number 13, which is Great Western Trail. It has a really cool deck building component where you're going to be adding these different cattle cards into your deck. But as you move along this route, you want to manage your hand so that when you arrive at the end, you have cattle of all different types that you can deliver. So it's about deck building, but also hand management as you go along this path. The other thing that I really like is that there's a bunch of different strategies that you can try and do. You can try and build a lot of buildings to give yourself exclusive actions that you can take along the road. You can get engineers and perhaps try and get your train to go really far along a track, or get cowboys and get a lot of different cattle cards into your deck. You can even try culling your deck, or maybe even having a really big deck but trying to manage that deck as you go through the route. There's lots to explore. Really fast, fun, enjoyable experience for Great Western Trail. Now my number 12 was my number 14 last time. I think this is the first game on the list that has actually moved up from the previous list that I did, and that is going to be Zhongguo, where you are trying to unify China. You're building palaces, installing governors, and building the Great Wall of China. The really cool thing that I love about Zhongguo is how the tableau building and action selection works. You have cards in your hand, and you can either play the card to your tableau to build up combos that you can do when you take actions, or you have to use the card to take an action. So the more you build up your tableau, the less actions you take. And so that balancing the building of your tableau and the actions that you take is such an interesting point in this game. You have such tough decisions on when do I stop building my tableau and when do I actually start taking the actions. Really cool game, which is Zhongguo. And then finally, on to my number 11 for this list, for this video, is going to be Oni Tama. It's a tactical two-player head-to-head game where it's kind of reminiscent of chess, but the moves that your pieces can make are dictated by these different cards that are going to be randomly dealt out at the beginning of the game. So it's really cool how it changes each game based on the cards that come out. And I mentioned it's tactical. It is so tactical. It's all about trying to control the momentum of the game, getting your pieces where you want them, limiting where your opponent can move their pieces, and anticipating 1, 2, 3 moves ahead. And if you can force your opponent into situations where you know the move that they are likely going to have to make, or know the move that they have to make because you have their masterpiece in danger, then that just allows you to control the momentum even further because you know what their next move is going to have to be. I've played this game a lot. I still really enjoy it. It's such a tactical game with no luck. It's just about outthinking and outmaneuvering your opponent. So that's my video and list for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned for my number 10 through 1, my top 10 games as of 2018. And until then, I'll see you guys next time.